Raise your hand if this sounds familiar. Every payday, you see that direct deposit hit your bank account and you think, this month is different. I'm actually going to save money, build up my emergency fund, stop living paycheck to paycheck. Then 2 weeks go by. You check your balance, and it's almost gone. You've got credit card bills coming due, a car payment to make, and you're already counting down the days until your next paycheck. You ask yourself over and over, I have a steady, full-time job. I make decent money. Why can I never save anything? A lot of people will tell you it's because you don't make enough. That rich people are just born with a money mindset that regular people like you and me can never learn. Today, I'm here to tell you that's a lie. What's up, everyone? Welcome to my channel. In this first video, we're answering the question that haunts 61% of working Americans: why you can't save money even with a steady salary. And why the so-called rich person mindset isn't something you're born with, it's a set of habits you can start practicing today. Stick around to the end, and I'll give you 3 zero-cost steps you can implement this payday to start saving money for real. Let me ask you this. How much did you make at your first job out of high school or college? And how much more do you make now? For almost all of you, that number is way higher now. Maybe you've gotten raises, promotions, switched to a better paying job, but here's the thing. Even though you make way more than you did 5 years ago, you still can't save money. In fact, you might have more debt now than you did back then. When you made $32K a year, you thought, if I just make $50K, I'll finally be able to save. Then you hit $50K and you thought, I need $70K to really get ahead. Now you're making $70K plus, and you're still living paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because you've fallen into the trap of the Ratchet Effect. Once your spending habits go up, they almost never come back down. You tell yourself, I work hard. I deserve to treat myself. Everyone else has this, so I should too. It's on sale, I'd be losing money if I don't buy it. But the hard truth is, your ability to save money is never determined by how much you earn. It's determined by how much you keep. Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the best-selling personal finance book of all time, said it best. Most people think rich people get rich by making a lot of money. They're wrong. The vast majority of wealthy people get rich by their ability to keep money, not just earn it. The real reason you can't save isn't your income. It's that you've got your money mindset backwards, and you're falling into 3 massive traps that 90% of working Americans step into every single month. The first and most hidden trap is mindless spending driven by our brain's need for instant gratification. Have you ever sat down and added up how much of your money goes to things you don't even remember buying? That $5 latte every morning on the way to work. That $18 Uber Eats order when you didn't feel like cooking. That $12 impulse buy on Amazon that you forgot about 2 days after it arrived. The $150 bar tab with friends on a Saturday night. Individually, these purchases feel small. You don't even think twice about them. But together, they add up to what we call the latte factor, all the tiny, mindless expenses that eat away at your paycheck before you even realize it. Let's do the math. If you spend $5 on coffee every workday, that's $100 a month, $1,200 a year. If you invested that $100 a month into the S&P 500, which has an average annual return of 7% after inflation, in 10 years you'd have over $17,000. In 30 years, that's nearly $120,000, and that's just coffee. Add in takeout, impulse buys, unused subscriptions. The average American spends $133 a month on subscriptions they don't even use, and those small purchases add up to thousands of dollars a year. Money that could be going into your savings, your retirement, or paying off your debt. Here's why this happens. Our brains are hardwired to choose instant pleasure over future reward. A $5 latte right now feels way better than $17,000 in 10 years, and every company out there is designed to exploit this. Buy now, pay later services like Klarna and Afterpay, 0% APR credit cards, one-click ordering, they all tell you you can have it now. Pay for it later, making it so easy to spend your future paychecks before you even earn them. By the time you realize what's happened, your paycheck is gone and you have nothing left to save. The second trap is the wrong money formula that 90% of people use their entire lives. Income, expenses equals savings. Here's what that looks like. You get your paycheck, you pay all your bills first. Rent, car payment, student loans, credit card minimums. Then you buy groceries, fill up your gas tank, have some fun, and whatever's left over at the end of the month, you put into savings. If this is you, I need you to hear this. You will never save money consistently with this formula because human wants are unlimited. As long as there's money in your bank account, you will always find something to spend it on. A new phone, a weekend trip, a new outfit, a nicer dinner. There will always be something, and your savings will always be an afterthought. Wealthy people don't use this formula. They use the reverse. Income, savings equals expenses. It's the same numbers, just flipped. But the mindset behind it is the single biggest difference between people who build wealth and people who live paycheck to paycheck. Here's how it works. The second you get your paycheck, the very first thing you do is take out the money you want to save, put it into a separate account where you can't touch it, and then live on whatever is left. For example, if you make $3,800 a month after taxes, you decide to save 20%, that's $760. You move that $760 into a high-yield savings account the day you get paid, and then you use the remaining $3,040 to pay your rent, your bills, your groceries, and everything else. A lot of you are thinking, if I take money out first, I won't have enough to live on. But here's the truth. You can adapt to almost any budget. If you make $3,800 a month, you can live on $3,040 just as easily as you live on $3,800. You just have to cut out the mindless spending we talked about earlier. You need to remember this forever. Money isn't made by saving every penny, but you can never build wealth if you can't keep money first. If you can't keep your money, you have nothing to invest, nothing to grow, no way to get ahead. The third trap, and the one that keeps most people poor for their entire lives, is that you have no idea the difference between an asset and a liability. In fact, you're probably buying liabilities right now thinking they're assets. Let's go back to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because this is the most important definition you will ever learn when it comes to money. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. That's it. It's that simple. And 90% of people have it completely backwards. Let's take the most common example. You take out a 6-year loan for a brand new $45,000 truck. You think this truck is an asset, right? It's in your name, it's worth money. But here's the truth. The second you drive it off the lot, it loses 20% of its value. Every month, you're paying $750 for the loan, $200 for insurance, $150 for gas and maintenance. That's $1,100 a month leaving your pocket with zero money coming in. That's not an asset. That's a liability. The only way that truck becomes an asset is if you use it to make money, like driving for Uber or using it for a side hustle. Otherwise, it's just draining your bank account. Another example, you buy a $3,000 designer bag on a credit card thinking it's a luxury asset. But that bag loses value the second you use it, and you're paying 20% APR interest on the credit card balance. It's taking money out of your pocket. It's a liability. Even your primary home, which most people call their biggest asset, isn't an asset by this definition. It doesn't put money in your pocket every month. It takes money out with your mortgage, property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. It only becomes an asset if you rent it out or sell it for a profit. Most people are spending their hard-earned paychecks buying liabilities and then wondering why they can never get ahead. Wealthy people do the opposite. They buy assets first, assets that put money in their pocket every month, and then use that passive income to buy the things they want. That's the core of the rich mindset, and it's not something you're born with. It's something you can learn. A lot of you are thinking, sure, that sounds great for rich people, but I'm just a regular person. I can't do that. Let me say this one more time. The rich mindset is not something you're born with. It's not reserved for people with Ivy League degrees or rich parents or a 6-figure salary. It's a set of simple, repeatable habits that anyone can start practicing today, no matter how much you make. Here are the 3 core habits that will change your relationship with money forever. The first habit is the foundation of all wealth building. Pay yourself first. This is the exact phrase we use in personal finance, and it means exactly what it says. When you get paid, the first person you pay is you. Not your landlord, not the bank, not Amazon, not the credit card company. You. Most people pay everyone else first, and then whatever is left, they pay themselves. But if you do that, you'll never pay yourself enough. You'll never save consistently, Paying yourself first means that before you pay any bills, before you buy anything, you take a portion of your paycheck and put it away for your future self. It doesn't have to be 20% right away. Start with 10%, even 5%. If you make $3,800 a month, 10% is $380. You can live on $3,420 a month, I promise you. The best part? You don't even have to think about it. Set up an automatic transfer with your bank, so the second your paycheck hits your account, that 10% is automatically moved to a separate high-yield savings account, or your 401k, or your IRA. Out of sight, out of mind. This isn't just about saving money. It's about changing your mindset. You are prioritizing your future, your financial freedom, over instant gratification. That's the first step to thinking like a wealthy person. The second habit is understanding the power of compound interest and learning to make your money work for you, instead of you working for money your whole life. Most people think investing is only for rich people, that you need thousands of dollars to start. That's not true. You can start investing with $5, $10, $100 a month. Compound interest is called the eighth wonder of the world for a reason. It's the process where your money earns interest, and then that interest earns interest, and it grows exponentially over time. The most important factor here isn't how much you invest, it's how long you invest. Let's do the math. If you're 25 years old and you invest $300 a month into the S&P 500, which has an average annual return of 7% after inflation, by the time you're 65, you'll have over $1.2 million. If you wait until you're 35 to start, you'll only have $500,000. That 1-0-year difference costs you $700,000. You don't need to pick individual stocks. You don't need to day trade. You don't need to understand crypto. For 99% of people, the best way to invest is to put your money into low-cost index funds, which track the entire stock market and let compound interest do the work. Wealthy people don't work for money. They make their money work for them. And you can start doing this today, even with $50 a month. The third habit is having a budget. I know what you're thinking. A budget means I have to be cheap. I can't have any fun. I have to count every penny. That's the biggest lie about budgeting. A budget doesn't restrict your freedom, it gives you freedom. It tells you exactly how much money you can spend on the things you want without feeling guilty and without worrying about running out of money before your next paycheck. The best budget for beginners, and the one that millions of Americans use, is the 50-30-20 rule, created by U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren. It's simple, flexible, and works for almost any income. Here's how it works. You split your after-tax income into 3 categories. 50% for needs. These are the things you absolutely cannot live without. Rent, mortgage, car payment, groceries, utilities, insurance, minimum debt payments. 30% for wants. These are the things that make life fun. Dining out, travel, concert tickets, new clothes, streaming subscriptions, that morning latte, 20% for savings and debt repayment. This is your pay yourself first money, emergency fund, retirement investments, extra payments on high interest credit cards or student loans. This budget works because it doesn't force you to cut out all the things you love. You have 30% of your income to spend on whatever you want. No guilt, no questions asked. But once that 30% is gone, it's gone. No more spending on wants until next month. When every dollar you earn has a job, you're in control of your money. That's the rich mindset. I know we've covered a lot, and you might be feeling overwhelmed, but you don't have to overhaul your entire life today. You just need to take 3 small, simple steps, starting right now. For the next 72 hours, write down every single dollar you spend, no exceptions. Even a $2 bottle of water, even a $10 Amazon order, even a $25 Uber ride. After 3 days, split those purchases into 3 categories: needs, wants, and impulse buys. You will be shocked at how much of your money is going to impulse buys you don't even remember. Those are your latte factors. Once you see them, you can start cutting them out. That's the first step to saving more money. Right now, open your banking app and set up an automatic transfer for 10% of your paycheck to go into a separate high-yield savings account the day you get paid. If you have a 401k at work with an employer match, make sure you're contributing at least enough to get the full match. That's free money. If you don't take it, you're leaving it on the table. Start with 10%. Once you get used to it, you can bump it up to 15%, then 20%. You won't even miss the money, and you'll be shocked at how fast your savings grow. Grab a piece of paper or open a spreadsheet. On one side, list all your assets, your savings, your investments, anything that puts money in your pocket. On the other side, list all your liabilities, credit card balances, student loans, car loan, anything that takes money out of your pocket. Then, look at the interest rates on your liabilities. The average credit card APR is over 20% right now. If you're only making minimum payments, you're throwing thousands of dollars away on interest every year. Your first priority, after building a small emergency fund, is to pay off that high-interest debt. It's the fastest way to free up more of your paycheck to save and invest. At the end of the day, saving money and building wealth isn't about being cheap. It's not about never buying coffee, or never going out with friends, or living a boring life. It's about taking control of your money, so your money doesn't control you. It's about having the freedom to quit a job you hate, to take care of your family when they need it, to retire comfortably, to live the life you want. So many people think that wealthy people are just lucky or born into money. But the truth is, most wealthy people got there with simple habits, with a mindset that prioritizes their future, with small, consistent steps over time. The rich mindset isn't something you're born with. It's a choice you can make today. If this video helped you, please hit the like button. It helps the channel grow a ton. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video where we're breaking down exactly how much you need for your emergency fund and where to keep it so it's safe and growing. And drop a comment below. What's your biggest struggle when it comes to saving money? Or how much do you save every month? Let's help each other out in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.